I looked in the mirror and I saw that I was heavily disfigured. Any chance I had at that sort of adventurous lifestyle, what I initially joined the army for, would be taken away from me. My name is Karl Hinett, and I joined the army as an infantry soldier in the Staffordshire Regiment in 2004 at the age of 17. On the 19th of September 2005, I sustained life-changing injuries while supporting a rescue operation in Basra during the Iraq War. A petrol bomb set me on fire, and I suffered 37% burns to my body after the tank I was in came under a fierce attack. I was 18 years old and faced with the challenge of rebuilding my life. This is my story. I joined the army when I was 17 years old. I was motivated and inspired by my grandmother, who also served in the army. Just listening to her stories of service and travel and friendship, it was something that I really wanted to do myself. It felt like I went into a new family. I got really close with all my colleagues. I really saw myself being there for the long run. As a typical 18-year-old British Army infantryman, I had that sort of feeling of invincibility, and I never really registered that anything could happen to myself. The day of my injury, it was coming towards the end of our 6 months tour of Basra, really. We were called out because of a large riot forming outside a police station, and we soon learned it was because there was 2 British servicemen captured and held in this prison. Our goal really was to provide support to other forces that were going to go in there and retrieve them. Our periscopes were completely damaged, so the hatches were open for us to have eyes out on the ground. And it was just an unfortunate series of events really that led to the whole demonstration evolving and growing in confidence, that they managed to get close enough that they could get a petrol bomb down the turret. Initially, at the moment that I was injured, it just overcome by panic really. For me to survive and get out of pain, I needed to get out, grip onto sort of like burning metal around the warrior sort of turret edges, and it was a moment where I thought that, should I even try anymore? But being compelled by pain, there was no option. It was just something that I had to do to survive. And when I did finally get myself out of the warrior, rolled off the turret. And then when I hit the ground, luckily my colleagues were right there, and they pulled me away to safety. Essentially, my muscles and the fat of my body was cooking. So the medics were pouring tepid water over me to try and cool my body down and my core temperature down, and sort of put like cold compress bandages all over me. I was loaded up onto the back of the helicopter, and that's where I was taken to the field hospital in Basra. I was just given some anaesthetic, and then I was put to sleep. And then I woke up 10 days later in Birmingham. I first realised the extent of my injuries when I had my first dressing change. I had to be wheeled into a shower, and they had to sort of like wash the bandages off. I received 37% burns all the way through all the layers of the skin down to muscle. I'd gone from a very intense, highly responsible job role to being bedbound and unable to feed myself. So it was incredibly frustrating. It taught me a lot about patience, and patience was definitely something needed for burns recovery. I started to try and do my own little sort of adventures, shall we say, or sort of I started travelling a bit more, and it was by just trying to live life, and with that it naturally just brought confidence back. The hospital who treated me, it became like a second home, and I really wanted to give back to them. I decided I'd fundraise for them, so I thought I'd go travelling and try and run a marathon every weekend, and this turned out to be over 2 years. So I ended up running 100 marathons in those 2 years, just all over the world.
When you look back, would you do it all again?
Without a doubt, I would happily go through the entire experience all over again, knowing what I have now. If you'd like to help veterans like me heal the scars of their service, please play the Veterans Lottery.